What do we know about a game like Minecraft? It was made in 2009 by Notch. It has like 3,000 something versions. We know that not all versions are available in our launchers. These are versions with minimal updates or poorly performing. But there are versions that are called lost. These are versions that are not available in the network and launchers. And one of them will be discussed. Error 422 is the lost and scariest version of our favorite game. But it wasn't like this before. Previously, it was a snapshot of an unknown version that was supposed to turn the whole game around. In this version, all possible game codes were rewritten from scratch. But something went wrong. The game, as it were, quote-unquote came to life and began to do anything that it wanted to. So the creature that has the name glitch disappeared. At one point, this game disappeared completely, as if it never existed. But once it's back online, you can download it from the links to this version. This version meets us with a destroyed main screen in which most of the buttons are not working. You can only create a world in survival. Now, the version is calm at first, and it studies us. But then it takes effect. From the usual sound changes to the release of the glitch itself. Anything possible can happen in it. The stack can change the value. Blocks cannot have a name, change the unit of experience, etc. Instead of the usual music, eternal, untiring white noise plays that can drive anyone mad. You can never quite figure out what the game will do. Odd occurrences. It's recommended you play the game blind if you want it to have the same scare factor, as having the mechanic explained can spoil the surprise. Several menu buttons seem to be disabled, including the quit game button, forcing you to have to close the game manually. When creating a world, its name is converted to bin hex before being saved. For example, the word apple becomes 417070-6C65. Your health and hunger bars are corrupted to the point that they're unreadable, forcing you to guess when you're hungry or low on health. The oxygen bar that normally appears when swimming is missing entirely, once again forcing you to guess how long you have before you drown. Every time you open the game, a new maximum item stack limit is chosen. Now, the limit seems to be any number up to 99, anywhere specifically from 0 to 99. If the stack limit is 0, it has some strange effects, like forever picking up the same items, cloning tools, even though the clones seem to have a durability of 0, and when you close out the game and re-enter it with a different stack amount. It'll still have the glitched items on the ground, and will still have the same effect when you pick them up. If a pre-existing stack exceeds the current maximum, i.e. last time you played you got a max stack of 75 blocks, but now the maximum is 36, the number will say that the stack only contains the current maximum amount. But taking blocks from said stack will reveal that it still has the same amount as it did last time. Experience is displayed in binary, rather than the standard decimal system. The F3 menu is scrambled beyond comprehension, and some item names will be scrambled seemingly at random. However, it will contain the same number of characters and spaces. Oakwood, for example, will show up as ### space ###. You may randomly get pushed as if you got hit by something, but you seemingly take no damage. The time of day may randomly change. You can get random potion effects for no reason. Some creepers, whether they be close or far away, explode instantly. When you break blocks, lava or water has a small chance to appear in its place. Placing blocks has a small chance to replace it with a different, seemingly random block. You may randomly be struck by lightning. Regardless of the weather, you may randomly be surrounded by fire. Water near you may randomly turn into lava. Beds have a rare chance to explode when interacting with them in the overworld, similar to the way they explode in, say, other dimensions. Your achievements may reset when loading the game. Words may randomly and rarely corrupt with the deletion of a few files. Wrong sounds might play. However, void damage does not occur. Cacti, water lilies, and dead bushes can generate mid-air and below ground. Cacti is the most notable, if only because it's a near-solid block that generates in columns of 3 or 4, whereas the other two are smaller, single textures. You can plant seeds and other crops on any block, even on top of other crops. The player noticeably has no head, and helmets do not appear on the player model. Pumpkins will still render properly on the player model if worn. Mob heads have not yet been tested. Sometimes the player does spawn with a head, but helmets will still not render. Crafting may result in a random item. Certain crafting recipes seem to be unavailable, such as fences and golden apples. Messages will appear in chat, reporting some sort of error. The type of error varies, claiming to dump an error report consisting of garbled text. An event can occur where your controls will lock up your screen and will be flooded with red scrambled words. Your inventory will be randomly scrambled, and your perception will rapidly alternate between allowing you to see through certain layers of blocks, creating a flashing effect. This only lasts for a few moments before letting you regain control. Sometimes your inventory will fail to load. The entity, also known as glitch, or ERR422, may randomly appear next to you, applying the 3D anaglyph filter, similar to an old 3D movie, and doing one of two following actions. The entity may lock your controls, including your camera, while spamming nonsense in chat. After a moment of this, your game will crash and open a crash log that simply spells out error 422 in red @signs. Or, the entity may remove your ability to attack. Scroll through your hotbar and use items as it chases you down and kills you. The entity is faster than the player and can kill you in just a few hits, making it a guaranteed death except in the most lucky of scenarios. If you do outlive the entity for long enough, it will disappear, leaving a strange red overlay of the moment it vanished, as shown here by coal-powered using an invincibility cheat. If you can manage to kill the entity, which is difficult as you cannot attack it directly, it will drop a large assortment of random items, including some unattainable ones, such as early versions of redstone repeaters and comparators, portal blocks, and empty spawn eggs. The game crashing may be unintentional, as in an earlier attempt, the game remained playable, although it kept the 3D filter. Now, you may be asking, where did this version come from? It was January 2020. One boy named Alexander was sitting at lessons when suddenly in Discord, something wrote to him in an incomprehensible person with a very strange nickname. He sent him a video called ERR422 54455354. In the description, there was a link to download a file that was incomprehensible to him. As it turned out later, it was not just a file, but the most real infernal Minecraft. and after a couple of hours he regretted that he opened it. Additional information. Error 422 is actually modded. It's a release of 1.4.7. The mod contains an anti-cheat that detects if the player is in creative mode or has cheats enabled. If it detects that the player is in creative mode or has cheats enabled, it will crash the game. While the multiplayer button is disabled, it is still possible to view the server list by being automatically kicked by spamming the chat in-game. This allows the client to join 1.5.2 servers as long as the server is in offline mode. The game is hard-coded to use the OS user account name regardless of whether a username is passed to the client through launch arguments or applet parameters. For example, if your username is admin, the username of the player would be admin. Despite this, the session ID can still be passed to the client as normal. The creator of the mod manually obfuscated the jar themselves, leading to it having completely different mappings from vanilla 1.5.2. Minecraft Applet was obfuscated, preventing launchers that use Minecraft Applet from launching the game. And when the game is patched and ran from the applet, several things are broken as the mod creator put some initialization code in the main method of Minecraft.class, meaning that some things are broken when the game is ran from the applet. While the bonus chest can't be enabled by default, it can still be enabled by manually editing level.dat with an NBT editor or by launching the game with demo flag and playing on the demo world. Error 422 is often distributed in the form of an exe file, which contains the jar within. Set.exe is hard-coded to use a specific version of JRE. The jar inside seems to be encrypted, making it harder to extract. But despite this, the jar can still easily be obtained as it is temporarily placed in the temp folder while the game is running. The jar file contains LWJGL and JInput, meaning that the game can be ran without needing external LWJGL and JInput jars in the class path.